So recently an article, I believe originally posted on the Metro, though I personally came across it on Lad Bible, as you do when you're scrolling on Facebook, suggesting, or rather outlining, that vegans on average take 5 more sick days than meat eaters and visit the doctors more often than meat eaters per year. So me personally, I don't doubt that that's not true. However, not for the reasons that the article was alluding to or heavily suggesting towards, because it was heavily suggesting on the fact that vegans, as a result, must get sick more often, which is just not the case. Statistically, it's been proven otherwise, and statistically, vegans are 1/3 less likely to develop diseases later on in life, such as type 2 diabetes or heart disease and things like that. So if we don't get sick more often, then why then are we taking more sick days and going to the doctors more often? The main thing that the article failed to outline was why we took more sick days and why we visited the doctors more often. So a good example for reference would be my case as to why I've been going to the doctors a lot lately this past year. Not a lot, but more visits than I care to have gone to. So me personally, I've been going to the doctors as of late to try and resolve my acne issues once and for all. Bear in mind, I've had acne since I was a meat eater, since I was a vegetarian, and since I was a vegan. Going vegan exclusively hasn't resolved the acne issues, so I've turned to the doctors to try and resolve this once and for all and get to the root cause of this. Key point being getting to the root cause. So if we look at a typical doctor's visit from a meat eater's point of view, if they were going into the doctor's appointment and expressing that they've got acne, they don't know why, and they've tried everything to try and resolve it, what can you recommend? The doctor would typically prescribe the pill, if they're female, of some form, or alternatively some form of antibiotics such as doxycycline. So they would take that prescription, and more times than not that would resolve the issue, so no repeat visits. However, from my perspective, going to the doctor's visit and expressing that I have acne, I've tried everything, I don't know what to do, what can you recommend? And they recommend the medication. I wouldn't be able to take that medication because at this moment in time there's nothing really that doesn't test on animals, or alternatively doesn't have lactose or gelatin in. So because acne, from my point of view, is vanity purposes, I'm not going to resort to animal cruelty to try and resolve that issue. Instead, I'm going to get to the root cause. So understandably, that would take a lot more visits because I'd have to do tests, get the results of those tests, depending on the results, take more tests. So that's what I've been doing and gotten quite bored of, so instead paid for my own tests so that I don't have to visit the doctors. And in the end, we determined it was a candida overgrowth from too much sugar and too much stress from a mentally understimulating job. So I would seek to resolve that. The article also referenced to millennials taking more days off than the previous generation. But as you can appreciate, nowadays we are having a better understanding of our well-being and how that affects a lot of things. So we're not necessarily taking days off sick for being physically ill, but rather just taking days to look after our mental health, even if we necessarily don't have mental health issues, especially those that have an interest in health and fitness and well-being. Me personally, I would interpret that as them taking more control on their well-being in general by taking more days off. However, I appreciate there are going to be some skeptics in the back that want hard facts, which you're probably all here for as well. So me personally as well, I have always wanted to know, am I deficient in anything? Is that what it could be down to? So a deficiency test was actually something I did, paid for of my own accord, before we determined that it was a candida overgrowth. That was the thing just before that test. So I have the test results, I have looked at them myself, but just for your reference, just so you can see. And all that I really do is I do actively try to eat a healthy, balanced diet, but understanding there's junk food within that. But I also take supplements, and I've been taking them for about a year, so by no means have I been taking these to try and sway the results. I just thought these would help in conjunction with what I've been inputting into my body. So without further ado then, The results are as followed. I've got my phone. So this particular test, you get like a doctor's note as well. So it's just, hi Rebecca, I'm pleased to say that your folate, lipid profile, liver function, ferritin and HbA1c tests for diabetes and prediabetes are normal. Your B12 levels suggest over-supplementation, which is always something oftentimes it's joked about, that we're B12 deficient. If this is not the case, please see your GP. Your vitamin D levels may not be adequate for optimal health in some people, so you may wish to consider taking a vitamin D supplement. Please see my advice in the focus area. So the only thing that I'm deficient in, based on what this particular test tested on, was vitamin D. However, the supplements that I take suggest 100% of the recommended daily intake. So that would suggest that whatever I'm inputting into my body isn't fully being absorbed, which now I can understand it is for the purpose of gut, i.e. candida overgrowth. So that can be resolved. I'll show you on screen now the breakdown of everything that was tested for and the levels. But as you can see, everything is normal apart from I'm consuming too much B12 somehow, which is ironic, and just low in vitamin D. However, it is known that vitamin D you can't exclusively get from diet alone, regardless of whether that diet includes meat or not. As the majority of us know, the best source of vitamin D still is sunlight. So in the UK, we don't see a lot of that. Therefore, a lot of people are vitamin D deficient. So those are the results then. Me personally, I'm very happy with those. Prior to seeing these results and filming this video, I genuinely didn't know if I was in fact overshotting it or undershotting it with regards to what I was putting in my body. So it is nice to know that for the most part, I know that what I'm offering my body is what it needs and what it requires. Anyway, regardless, let me know your thoughts, whether you're a meat eater or whether you yourself are vegan. That is just my input and what I found to be true for myself and my experience with reference to my days off from work and my doctor's visits. But until next time, I'll see you later.